Hi friends, I'm thinking about the old monks and the hermits who retreated into the monasteries in the desert. And as I've said before, they didn't do so to disconnect or disengage from the world. They did so because they wanted to relearn relatedness. I'm thinking about this as we continue to shelter in place. It reminds me of those old, ancient questions that are so important for us to ask. Am I my brother's and sister's keeper? Who is my neighbor? Just how interconnected are we in this world? If America sneezes, who else catches a cold? There's an old Zen saying, if you can hear it with the ear and see it with the eye, then you've missed it. You still don't understand it. But if you can actually hear with the eye and see it with the ear, then you know it. You understand it. Years ago, during my hospital chaplaincy, I had an opportunity to understand what the old Zen saying was really about. I was with an elderly gentleman in the hospital after he had had a stroke that had robbed him of speech. I was there that day when his wife came to visit him, bringing a whiteboard. And so he wrote and communicated writing. He wrote and communicated with his hand. And she heard and she understood with her eyes. In essence, what allowed them to communicate was the intimacy of participation. It wasn't communication from afar. It was the intimacy of participation born of the decades of their relationship, of knowing one another. It was a participation that spoke in the end about a quality of their being present with and for one another. As you and I continue with our practice of meditation or any spiritual practice, we begin to recognize that fear is not wanting to be present. We begin to understand that anger is the way that we defend being present, or that sadness is the loss of our presence, or that joy is the exuberance of presence brimming over. As we continue to practice meditation, we begin to realize that all spiritual practices expand our capacity for relatedness. As we practice meditation, we sharpen and we deepen attention. And we begin to understand attention is not from a distance, from a safe remove as if we can just observe and look in on something. But that attention is nothing other than participation, of vulnerability, of empathy, of a deep, intimate way of understanding. And that participation shapes nothing other than our quality of presence with and for one another. In the end, meditation as a spiritual practice begs the question of how radically and intimately interconnected we really are in this world. And the truth of our interconnectedness and the sustainability of that truth will say everything about the sustainability of our own lives. And so, friends, we continue with our practice.